She's not who she claims to be? A chilling story. Ryan called at dawn on Friday the 13th, just as I was still wrapped in Emma's embrace. I ignored the call. Leaving my girl at a moment like that was the last thing I wanted. But Ryan wasn't giving up. My phone buzzed again, and again, and again. With a heavy sigh, I slipped out of the warm bed and finally answered. "Why the hell weren't you picking up?" "Because it's early." "I was asleep," I muttered. "Yeah, right. I know exactly who put you to sleep," he scoffed. "But listen, this is serious. Austin is missing." "Missing?" "He never came home. Left last night and nothing. His phone's off. No sign of him anywhere." "Are you home now?" "Yeah. I'll be there in 20. I'll be waiting." Emma didn't look too thrilled that I was getting up at the crack of dawn and leaving her alone. But Ryan was in real trouble. My best friend had just turned 26, but for the past 3 years, he'd been raising his younger brother, Austin, on his own. After their parents were killed in a hit and run, and the police failed to find the driver, Ryan had taken on the role of guardian for 12-year-old Austin. I could only imagine what he was going through right now. I pressed a quick kiss to Emma's disappointed lips, grabbed my car keys, and rushed to the garage. 20 minutes later, just as promised, I was outside his house. Ryan was already waiting for me. As soon as I pulled up, he jumped into my Toyota without a word, and we took off. "Think Austin ran off to Black Ridge again?" I asked, knowing that mountain was his favorite hideout, the place he'd escaped to more than once, driving his brother to the brink. 100%. That little brat's up there again," Ryan muttered, clenching his fists. "This time he won't get off so easy." "Maybe you shouldn't be too hard on him." "Shouldn't be?" Ryan snapped his head toward me. "How else am I supposed to get it through his skull that he can't just disappear like that? That there are people who actually care about him?" I hesitated for a moment before finally voicing my thoughts. "But he keeps saying weird things. That he talks to your mom when he's up there. Don't you think maybe he should see someone?" "I don't know. But first he's getting an earful from me." By the time we reached the base of Black Ridge, we started our climb. The trail wound through a dense forest of pines and oaks. Then higher up, we had to push through thick underbrush. The farther we went, the steeper the incline became. The mountain narrowed at the top, its peak sharp like a pyramid. We finally emerged from the tree line onto a rocky slope. Up here it was like a desert, nothing alive in sight, just massive boulders. We climbed side by side, carefully stepping to avoid loosening the rocks beneath us. The ground was unstable, and one wrong move could send a whole cascade of debris tumbling down. The view was breathtaking, but we weren't here for the scenery. Still, not taking a second to look around felt like a crime. "Damn, Jake, look at this view!" Ryan spread his arms wide, awestruck, and then a loud rumble echoed above us. We both snapped our heads up. A massive boulder was rolling straight toward us. Its path was too precise, almost like someone had pushed it. The boulder knocked loose smaller rocks, and together they came crashing down like an avalanche. For a split second I froze, unsure which way to run. Ryan leaped to the right, but I'd never make it in time. I'd be crushed, left. That was my only chance. I dove to the side, but even there it wasn't safe. The biggest boulder suddenly shifted direction. Shit! It was like it was chasing me. My heart slammed against my ribs. Instinct kicked in. I crouched low, held my breath, and only then realized the boulder missed me by just a few inches. But right behind it came a wave of debris. A cascade of smaller rocks rumbled down, crashing their way into the thickets below, before finally disappearing. "That little shit!" Ryan clenched his fists, seething with anger. Someone was up there. We stopped, staring up at the peak. Even from a distance, I recognized Austin immediately. The kid was perched right at the very top, like a king on his throne. And from the way he sat there, it almost felt like he was waiting for us. Ryan muttered something about an unforgivable stunt, while I just prayed the kid wouldn't send another rock slide our way. Luckily this time, he didn't test our luck. At last we reached the summit, 1.5 kilometers straight up in just 2.5 hours. Not bad. I think we just earned a spot in the Guinness Book of Records, I joked, wiping the sweat from my forehead. And there it was. Ryan, face to face with Austin. The kid didn't even flinch. He met his brother's arrival with complete calm. I took a step back, ready to witness a tough conversation, and if needed, ready to be the one who'd hold Ryan back from any emotional outbursts. At least that's how I imagined it, knowing his temper and all the threats he'd muttered on the way up. But things played out differently. Instead of lashing out, Ryan just pulled his brother into a tight hug. No words, just a firm embrace. I even caught a glimpse of his hand brushing his cheek, wiping away a tear. Brothers. I watched them with a strange sense of envy. Maybe being an only child wasn't as great as I used to think. We made our way back down the mountain, and I drove them home. Thanks, man, Ryan patted my shoulder. Stay for a coffee? We could use a break. I agreed. After that hike, a strong cup of black coffee was exactly what I needed. We settled around the kitchen table, grabbing whatever snacks were within reach. Cookies, gingerbread, a few apples. Well, boys, I better get going. Try not to disappear again, yeah? I said, pushing back my chair. Ryan walked me to the door. I was already sitting in my car when Austin suddenly ran up to me. I talked to Mom again on the mountain, he said. She told me to warn you about danger. The boy hesitated, then leaned in and whispered, You're living with the devil. A cold shiver ran down my spine. And by the way, I wasn't the one who moved that boulder. With that, he turned and ran back inside without waiting for my reaction. I shook my head, muttering something under my breath, and drove home. Emma met me at the door with a soft smile. I smiled back. She stepped closer and kissed me gently on the lips. I knew exactly what that meant. This morning, I'd left her all alone. Her kisses were just as sweet as the first time, and her embrace felt like discovering something new, something thrilling. Emma was a queen in my eyes. I ran my fingers through her silky dark hair, pressed a soft kiss to her ear. And then, a chill shot through my body. My fingers brushed against something hard. I froze. Then, shaking my head like a wet dog trying to shake off water, I instinctively recoiled and let out a sharp cry as I stumbled backward. Hidden beneath Emma's thick dark hair were two small, unmistakable horns.